Hey guys, so I haven't done a video in a really long time, but I wanted to do the 13 Reasons Why tag video that Pink Sparkles, aka Samantha on YouTube did. She basically made up the questions, and I personally loved 13 Reasons Why, and I have wanted to talk about it for a long time, so I may come up with different videos. But I guess we'll get started on the questions. So the first question, who is your favorite character? My favorite character, I'd say, would have to be Clay. I just liked that they tried to make him seem sort of out of it, like he's kind of having like an out-of-body experience almost, and he started to go for revenge and started to try to piece together what was going on. And he was also the only one that had actually, spoiler if anybody hasn't watched it yet, so don't watch this video, but he basically was the only one that wanted to fix the wrongdoings that had happened to Hannah Baker. He was the only one of all the 13 tapes that was feeling guilty and felt like someone should know, and the rest of the people that were on the tapes basically were trying to shy it away because they were scared, like, oh, I'm gonna lose my scholarship over this stupid dead girl. So Clay was the only one that was different. Number 2 is, who did you relate to the most? And I would say probably Hannah Baker. There's a lot of the things that she was going through that she kept internally and was afraid to tell to people, and it basically was made fun of when she did reach out for help. That happened to me a lot when I was around 14 to 16, and I could just feel the pain, and I've also been suicidal, so I know what she was feeling when she was feeling it, and it was like kind of a difficult thing to watch, but I definitely could relate to her in a lot of different ways. Number 3 is, who did you like at the start but changed your mind? That would be Mr. Porter. I thought he was like a great counselor, and he was gonna do this and that, and he was just wanting to help people, and then slowly as you start to watch it, you realize that he's just trying to cover his own ass and keep his own job, and actually basically turns away Hannah Baker and basically says, oh, you were a victim of rape? Well, I'm gonna victim blame you. You just wanted it, but then you regretted it later. Like, Mr. Porter, no. I thought I could have liked him, but very quickly changed my mind towards the end. Number 4 is, what scene was the most emotional to you? And I think this would probably be different for everybody, surprisingly. The most emotional scene for me personally would be, of course, Hannah Baker's suicide. Not necessarily when she was actually committing suicide, but when her mother and father found her. I had found my dad when he committed suicide, and I could see they did a really well of depicting sort of what it's like to find someone who committed suicide, and the pain and the confusion and the hope that, oh, they're gonna be okay, they're gonna be okay. That to me was very emotional, and of all the scenes in the movie or the series, I had started to tear up really bad at that, just because I knew that pain, even though it was fake and those parents didn't really lose her. I know that that happens in real life, and I've been through that, and I've lost someone to suicide, and I've found someone who committed suicide, so that was a very emotional scene for me. What character left a sour taste in your mouth? I would say Courtney, because the entire time she was just trying to cover up that she was lesbian. Even though she had 2 dads who were gay, she was basically throwing Hannah Baker's name under the bus, making her seem like this drama queen, even though Courtney is like this big drama queen who's trying to cover up the biggest secret about herself. And I understand that coming out is an extremely hard thing, but I personally believe that if she had came out, then it wouldn't have been that big of a deal. And obviously her parents would have been very supportive of her, but I just feel like she was trying to belittle what Hannah was going through because, oh, people might have found out I was a lesbian, or oh, people might have found out I was bisexual. Like, she left a really, really sour taste in my mouth. She was just extremely rude, and basically was like, fuck Hannah, I don't care about her. She's the one that ruined me. She did this to me, she did that to me. Like, kind of like, feel sorry for me. This is all what I've gone through, even though Hannah is dead. That's kind of like the person that I couldn't stand. Number 6 is, has this show changed your perspective on serious life issues? On suicide, no, not really, because I was I've been really educated on it. I've researched it. I've been through it. I've seen it myself. So not on the suicide part, but on rape and what goes through someone's mind and what happens during a rape scene. Even the scene with Jessica telling her father, that was such an important thing that I had never even really thought about, like the humiliation it would be to come out and say, yes, I was raped, even to your father, your sister, your friend. Like how hard it would be for a rape victim to actually come out and tell, hey, this is what happened to me. Especially since the person who raped her is extremely rich and could very easily get away with it and very easily ruin her reputation as just some whore who was drunk and who wanted it. It opened my eyes seriously to that. Number 7 is, what would you change or add to the show if you could? I loved it in every way that it was. I thought that they put the show together in a really well way. I don't think I would have changed anything, just because the way that they did it and the way that they had directed it really hit me home. And yes, I do think that, I guess they could have tried to emphasize that Hannah Baker was going through some type of a mental illness, but it would be really hard for a show like this to add that in there, because she wasn't telling anybody that she was mentally ill. And she wasn't telling anyone, hey, this is how I'm feeling, that I'm feeling really depressed. They couldn't have had her go into counseling or anything, because part of the show was that her parents had no idea that she was struggling, because this is truly reality. A lot of people pretend like they're okay and they shove it deep down and they don't let it come out until it's too much, and then a lot of times people kill themselves because they kept it all in and they bottle it up, or they have serious issues later on down the line. And that's just the reality of it. So I think that the show was very realistic in that sense. So I wouldn't change anything about the show. My favorite quote of the entire show was Hannah's poem, because it was extremely raw and deep and showed her emotions, and I just thought it was beautiful. And for those of you who don't really remember it, I'll read a little part of it. It must be possible to swim in the ocean of the ones you love without drowning. It must be possible to swim without becoming water yourself. But I keep swallowing what I thought was air. I keep finding stones tied to my feet. Favorite Clay moment. My favorite moment of Clay would be whenever he actually got Bryce to confess on tape that he had basically raped Hannah Baker. And I think that's basically everyone's Clay moment, whenever he's riding down the street on his bike and he's just like screaming and yelling and he's just happy, and like you finally get to see Clay have some relief and happiness in him, because he's been struggling so hard internally and emotionally with losing his friend / person that I think he loved. So I think that would be definitely my favorite moment. Number 10 is, whose style do you like the most? I think my favorite style would be Hannah Baker's, just because that's kind of my style. Number 11 is, what was the most shocking moment to you? I'd say Jessica's rape scene was extremely shocking to me, just because I didn't expect it, and I didn't know that Hannah had actually witnessed it, and I couldn't even imagine the feelings of guilt that Hannah had felt and what Jessica was going through, and Jessica's boyfriend even. It was really shocking the way that they had put that together. Number 12 is, people are saying anyone and everyone should watch this. Do you agree? I personally think it would be beneficial for everybody to watch it, but I can understand from a psychologist's perspective or from someone else's perspective who may have lost somebody to suicide, who may have just tried to attempt suicide, or someone who has just recently been raped, or even raped several years ago and it's still triggering things. So I don't think it's necessarily something for everybody, but if you feel that you can handle watching very graphic things, they're not even very graphic, they're just very realistic things that happen every day. I think that as long as you are mentally stable and able to handle those type of things, I think you should definitely watch it. Even if you've been through something traumatic like myself. I've been suicidal, and I've also found someone who committed suicide, but it wasn't triggering in the fact, it wasn't too triggering for me. I'm not even saying it was really that triggering for me. I've had 7 years to really cope with what has happened and to try to get better and feel better about what happened to my dad and what I had seen and gone through. So I think it, for me, wasn't too triggering, and it opened my eyes and made me realize how important it is to talk about suicide and mental illness and rape and the things that go on in high school, like bullying, because nobody else is talking about it. And everybody keeps talking about how, oh, they didn't do this, but I want you to name one other TV show, one other movie that hit all of these important topics in one film, in one series, and had the big impact as this has. I mean, I know a lot of people are saying it's a negative thing and it's actually hurting people than helping them, but it's getting people to talk about serious topics. It's getting people to talk, and that's, I think, what they were trying to go for. And I really think that it just depends who you are. So in a way, I think that everyone should, as long as they're emotionally ready to watch something that may be triggering to them. Number 13 is, what questions do you want answers for? Quite a bit. Tyler, I want to know why he is getting guns. Obviously people are talking, and I thought the same thing, that maybe he's planning a school shooting, or he's planning to kill everybody basically that was a part of the tapes, which to me it seems like that because he had all those people's pictures. I want to know if Alex survived his suicide attempt, and I want to know if he even actually committed suicide or attempted, because I don't necessarily believe it, because it could be Tyler was taking down Alex's picture because he had already killed Alex. So maybe he didn't commit suicide. So I don't know. I also want to know how the court handles the tapes that Hannah had released, because now it's in the parents' hands, and if the parents are even going to use that against them. And I want to know also if Bryce is going to be charged with rape, and if he's going to get jail time because he has raped 2 women now. And I hope, and I want to know how Jessica handles everything, and whether she starts to get help, and if she gets help with alcoholism. And I also want to know if Clay and Tony become close friends, because they seemed to be getting closer, and Clay and Tony both seem to care about each other. So I want to see their relationship bond. And I also want to see Tony and the guy that he was starting to date. I want to see how their relationship turns out and see if Tony gets to have a happy ending. But that's basically all of the questions. 13 questions for 13 reasons why tag. If you want to do the tag, then I will go ahead and link Pink Sparkle's video, and she has the questions in the description. I might just add them in my description as well, I don't know. But I definitely will link her video. I just wanted to make a video because I haven't in a really long time, so sorry if I'm a little weird or whatever, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.